Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Final Whistle. Kevin Walsh alongside David Giacomino. As always, we're going to be talking about the Mets. For anyone who's been living under a rock, Mets made it out, beat the Dodgers at Dodgers Stadium in Game 5. They got the job done. Daniel Murphy is an absolute rock star nowadays, and they are now up 2-0 against the Chicago Cubs, going to Wrigley tonight. But let's maybe take it back, Dave. That Dodgers series, what did you see from the team? I think is going to be the big question.
The team just played great, and people saw them winning this series. I don't think anybody saw them winning the way they did. Just behind Daniel Murphy, putting the team on his back and basically winning them the series with every aspect of his play. The home runs, the base running, just his play was phenomenal. He led the Mets by example, and he led them to that victory.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel Murphy, every single time he swings the bat, it looks like he's adding another dollar sign to his name there, obviously coming up on the contract year. I think the most impressive thing for the Mets was, and the reason why I favored the Dodgers in the series, in order for the Mets to come out of that series with a win, they would either need to beat Kershaw twice, Greinke twice, or beat them both. They did. They ended up getting victories against the both of them. I really didn't think any team was going to be really able to do that. I didn't see that, coming from the Mets, because truthfully, you don't know what you could count on from their offense, but right now they look like a Cinderella team. They have players stepping up in every which way. Granderson robbed a home run the other day at Wrigley. I mean, he's been phenomenal. Daniel Murphy, you can't say enough about him. Wilmer Flores, I feel, has been playing pretty well ever since he had to step up for Ruben Tejada, d'Arnaud, and of course the pitching you can't say enough about.
Yeah, and just think about what's going on here. Like, they're doing all of this. No, the hitting is being well, but it could get even better. I mean, David Wright, Lucas Duda have been awful. Cespedes has not even really done anything special besides that one Game 3.
Yeah.
And just think about if all these guys start to get going. This offense could look very scary, but it's hard to believe that Daniel Murphy's going to keep this going throughout the whole playoffs. His bat may die down soon, but still, you have to ride this hot bat while you can, and the Mets are. Daniel Murphy is killing the ball, and he's really leading this offense by example. He's like, follow me, get on my back, and let's win this thing.
I mean, you can't say enough for him. There's someone, though, that I think needs a lot more recognition. Jeurys Familia. Now, being honest with myself, I don't know how much I trusted him coming into the playoffs. I do believe he allows far too many base runners for a closer. You like 1, 2, 3 innings, and I think sometimes he makes things a little too interesting. Again, he was great all year, but sometimes he makes things a little too interesting.
But I will say this, he was great in the Dodger series. They used him a lot, and not one batter got on base against him. One batter got on base against in the first 2 games of the Cubs series. But I will say this: are you afraid that they're really overusing him? Because they pretty much coming in every game.
No, well, here's what he's allowed: 2 hits now. 2 hits. Rizzo getting the hit in Game 2, that dribbler where he beat Duda to the bag. Which, I mean, that's not a great hit. Jeurys Familia is locked in. I mean, locked in. And you got to think about it like this. Once the season's done, I mean, you don't have to worry about pitch counts really, I feel, right now. Just kind of let people go and let Familia go. I do think, though, because they've used him every game. Even when the games, that game against the Dodgers, the 2 games where they didn't really have a chance, they wanted to throw Familia in to keep the margin where it was. Say tonight's game gets ugly, I'm not putting Familia in. On either side. Mets have a big lead. Say the Mets come out offensive, big game. Let's say they're up 7-1. In the 9th inning, I'm throwing Clippard.
No, I'll say this. I'm not even throwing Clippard. I'm throwing Colon. Let him go. Let him go 2 or 3 innings. Finish the game, because he's been throwing great too, and I'll be confident in him going those 2 or 3 innings that he's not going to give up the lead.
Yeah, or if it's the other way around, say the Cubbies up, bats come alive. Then throw. Still, don't throw Familia. I think, but again, 1 run, 2 run, even 3 run ball game.
Oh, absolutely,
needs to be in the game.
Absolutely,
no two ways about it.
No, absolutely, and I think Terry Collins is more than confident now that when he puts Familia in the game, he's gonna win, and that's just a great asset to have. We saw it all the years with the Yankees having Mariano Rivera. I'm not saying Familia is like Mariano, but he is pitching like him, and he's pitching phenomenal, and he's everything the Mets could have asked for.
Now, I'll ask, though, the Cubs, what can they do to get a win here? They're right now about to go up against Jacob deGrom, and if they lose this game, they're down. They're in a 3-0 hole.
They just got to find base runners. They haven't been getting rallies going, and when they do have base runners, maybe put a runner in motion, maybe hit and run. When you're having this funk like in offensive, slumps, you need to do stuff like that to get your offense going. Things can happen. A little ground ball, base hit with the second baseman covering the bag, that can get a team going. You have to try things. Try different things to get the gel going.
For the Cubs, too, the one thing you have to give them is, I think they're the only team left. They're the only team left in the postseason that hasn't lost at home yet. Now, obviously, they've only played twice there, but still haven't lost at home yet. So that is something that I think they can kind of hang their hats on. And if they get this win tonight, if they get this win against Jacob deGrom, 4-5, odds might be in their favor.
It's looking up, but I don't know if it's necessarily
no guarantees. But if they get a win tonight against deGrom, I would think, even keeping it at a game by game, game 4 has to be advantage them.
Yeah, I would say it's in their advantage, but Steven Matz is still a very good pitcher, and then they're throwing Jason Hamill game 4. They said there's talks of John Lester starting game 4 if they were to lose game 3, but I don't think that's gonna happen. If they do win tonight against the Mets ace, that's going to give them a lot of confidence.
That's what I'm saying. And you got to think it could favor them game 4. And if they go out and they win game 4, if they win game 5, now they just won 3 in a row. They only need to win 1 more. It puts the Mets in a bad hole. I mean, that's why we've been talking about how we don't like the 2-3-2 format. It's ridiculous. It's horrible. It does not favor the team with home field advantage whatsoever.
Yeah, and imagine the Mets would have lost one of the 2 games at the Citi Field, because then it would have gone for 3 to Wrigley Field, and then just like that, the series could be over. I don't like the format. We both agree on that. It does not favor the home field advantage at all, and I feel like the team with home field advantage should have the favor.
Excuse me. I think let's get into it. We used to call it overtime. Let's get into overtime here. Give me an X factor for each team. So we'll start with the Mets. Who is your X factor for the Mets? We'll say even just right now, game 3. Who's the X factor?
The X factor, he's been great, phenomenal. I'm going to say Curtis Granderson. He's the Mets leadoff hitter. He gets everything going. When he gets on base, the Mets score. It's that simple. And if he continues to get on base, if he continues to draw walks, get singles, do what he's doing, even defensively in the outfield, taking a home run away, he's been great for the Mets. He's been one of the MVPs throughout the whole season. So if he continues to do the job, he's going to spark this offense, and he's been a great leadoff hitter all season. If he continues to do that, the Mets are going to win.
I think for the Mets, and obviously, for people who don't know, X factor means outside of the obvious. So we're not going to say Murphy, Familia, deGrom. Cespedes, though, even though he would feel like the obvious, but we haven't had a Cespedes game really where it was like, oh man, that is the guy that was doing it, for the Mets in the regular season and all that stuff. Cespedes has seen a lot of good pitches because Murphy's been so good and stuff.
Did you even see the Cubs walked Murphy to get the Cespedes?
Which is crazy.
Which is last month you would have been like, are you
nuts?
Not
a thing. It's not an
option.
Are you nuts? So that's why I think Cespedes needs to have a good game here. I think this should be the game where Cespedes gets his bat going.
And I could see them walking Murphy again, maybe once or twice if there's
depending on the base runner.
If there's people out there, there's damage to be done. I could see them walking Murphy. Right now they don't want to touch him, and I don't blame them.
I mean, he's had 2 home runs off Kershaw, home run off Greinke, home run off Arrieta, and another one off Lester. The 3 best pitchers in baseball this season. He has home runs.
All Cy Young candidates. He's home run off.
So
hit a home run off.
That right there. I wouldn't want to pitch to Murphy at all. For the Cubs though, you got to give me who an X factor. Who could be the guy?
This is the big name guy, but Anthony Rizzo. He hasn't done much. Nobody's really done a lot, but he's supposed to be their big bat. I want to see him win a game for them. These big stars, and he is a star. Their stars are supposed to be able to win a game by themselves, and I want to see them maybe go deep. He needs to put this team on his back like Daniel Murphy is doing, and he needs to just get something going with this offense.
For me, I think I'm going to have to put it on Dexter Fowler, the leadoff hitter for the Cubs. You saw what he did against Garrett Cole. He got things going, and him and Kyle Schwarber really just took Garrett Cole out of the game. They had such a big performance. And for this Cubs lineup, if they go out there and they're seeing Fowler look silly, that's bad. And it'll give DeGrom confidence, and it'll hurt them. If Fowler can get out there and get on base, it can really get this team going. And I think that is why Dexter Fowler, if the Cubs want to get a victory here, he needs to have a good game at the plate.
Yeah, definitely. And any team's leadoff hitter, if they get on base, if they're doing what they're supposed to do, it's going to ignite this offense. And that's why I said Curtis Granderson. It ignites the whole offense. It gives them confidence. It allows them to do more things. Like I said, maybe sacrifice, hit and run. It just creates so many more options for the manager.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see how things go. Tonight is going to be Game 3. Also, Game 4 of that Royals-Blue Jays series. Both, obviously the winners of each series are going to be meeting in the World Series, so we'll be keeping eyes on that, and we're keeping you updated, as always, on Final Whistle with Kevin Walsh and David Giacomino. We will see you guys next time.